Well, nothing is safe anymore. First they went after 300 of all movies. Now they are targeting Alien and Predator. Why? Well, prepare to be unshocked, people. Hello, this is Mara Jade, and I'm here with another video, and like I said, prepare to be unshocked, because here it is from Bounding Into Comics, an article entitled, Brock University Professor, they're handing that title to anyone nowadays, Tamari Kitasa accuses Alien and Predator films of reinforcing, quote, anti-black racism. You read that correctly, folks. Two extraterrestrial creatures from sci-fi horror/action films reinforce anti-black racism. This person looked at these creatures and immediately thought minorities. Go fucking figure. But anyway, let's go into this article and I'll give my 2 cents on this whole stupidity. So here it is. A recent article claims that the iconic Alien and Predator creatures reinforce anti-black racism, quote unquote. This claim is based solely on the creatures' black appearances. Never mind that the fucking Predator is not black, or at least not all the Predator creatures are black, according to the author. So based solely on their appearances, like I said, this person looked at these creatures, looked at these sci-fi fantasy horror/action movie creatures, extraterrestrials, and immediately thought minorities. At any rate, moving on. On August 16th, an independent news site, The Conversation, published how Hollywood's Alien and Predator movies reinforce anti-black racism. This piece is written by Brock University Associate Professor, they're handing that title, like I said, to any fucking person nowadays, of sociology, which sociology, in my humble opinion, is about one rung or two above, let's see, gender studies basket weaving majors. Tamari Kitasa. So here it is. The piece opens with Kitasa's asking, what makes black people, why is R in brackets? It doesn't make any grammatical sense with this sentence. What makes black people more likely than others to be killed, beaten, tortured, and raped by white police officers and vigilantes? So yeah, yes, basically, the whole racist cop notion, the whole white racism, because white people, we're the only racist nowadays. We're the only racist people. And if you're a cop, oh my god, you are evil incarnate. So, again, he's eyeing these extraterrestrial creatures and he is equating them with minorities and letting current day sociopolitical agendas and identity politics permeate these two classic franchises. Nothing is safe anymore. Nothing. He goes on to answer his own question, stating, a culture and history of racist misrepresentation may have something to do with it. He's looking at these creatures. One, extraterrestrial creature that is part of a hive mind colony, much like insects like ants and so forth, with acid blood, and another extraterrestrial creature that's, not all of their, let's put it this way, appearances are all black, but another creature that hunts other life forms for sport, to include humans, equating them with black people. Moving on. He then asks another question. Why has there been considerable tolerance among the silent majority of white people for animal-like demonic representations of black people in media and popular culture? The short answer is that we are dealing with a culture of domination, he writes. It is a culture that thrives on the sexualized domination of black people. How in any way does that even fucking remotely tie into the Alien and Predator franchises? How? How? You want to find out how to this fucking idiots? He then asserts that Alien comports with the trope of black women as alien breeders, and Predator riffs on images of black men as dreadlocked, violent, and superhuman. Let that sink in. Let this sink in. Nothing is safe because, apparently now, based solely on their appearances, these two fictional creations, these two extraterrestrial creatures from sci-fi, horror/action films franchises are automatically equated in this fucker's mind to minorities. The fucking villains in these movies, fictional movies, nothing at all to do with current modern day politics, unless you have fuckers like this permeating their own agendas into these films. Because most sane people are watching this film and seeing them for what they really are. A fucking xenomorph, an alien, and a predator. It should be noted that at no time has anyone related to either of these franchises declared that either the xenomorph or the titular predator were representative of black individuals. Not until this fucking idiot. To justify these claims, Kitasa infers sociopolitical parallels in these films where none truly exists. Much of his piece centers around his claims of historical instances of anti-black racism rather than any meaningful discussion of the respective films' content. Nothing to do with the films, nothing. Solely based on their appearances. Kitasa proceeds to compare black women to the alien. He writes, Ridley Scott's Alien franchise, with its vicious and endless breeding carbon black alien mother, the queen, like I said, it's kind of representative of insect colonies. The hive mind insects, like ants, who have queens, and the queens are solely responsible for the breeding, the continuation of the species. You have the queen, and you have the workers, like bees also. Queens and workers. And so forth. But no, he doesn't, that doesn't cross his mind. Does not cross his mind. Nothing rational like that crosses this fucking idiot's mind. He looks at this and goes, well, that's a black woman, the whole racist representation of black women being nothing but breeders. Came at the height of neoliberal experiment, and in the US especially, an all-out assault on black people. Kitasa went on to say, in the context of anti-black culture, the film signifies the black woman as an unkillable and ceaselessly breeding alien who threatened the body politic. Was he not watching the same fucking film as everybody else? Did he even watch these films? In terms set by historian Lathrop Stoddard's white supremacist 1920 book, The Rising Tide of Color, a black woman's sexual reproduction is imagined to signal the genetic extinction of the white republic, states Kitasa. Again, nothing to do with these films. Absolutely nothing at all to do with these films. One must point out that his claim that xenomorphs represent black women is based solely on the reading of a book written by a genuine white supremacist. A genuine white supremacist. So basically he's going off a genuine white supremacist and then equating this film to anti-black racism. Even though, if he were to actually watch the fucking films, he would see, hopefully, nothing to do with it. A citation which may lead some to realize how absurd and disingenuous Kitasa's arguments are. The same form of writing holds true for his discussion on the Predator, as Kitasa spends most of this section discussing his claims of historically racist stereotypes of black men. Kitasa writes, in the context of racially charged white anxieties about immigration and social order, oh my fucking god. The historical demonization of black men is a trope, a stereotype that easily maps out onto cinematic typecasting. The 1987 Hollywood film that launched the Predator franchise fits this pattern. It is an extraterrestrial creature that hunts other life forms for sport. It leaves its home world to travel to other worlds solely for trophies, to include human trophies. Nothing to do with anything on this planet other than the fact it travels here in fucking fictional settings. Despite the noted fact that the Predator has never been nor ever intended to be a representation of black men, Kitasa states that Predator depicted a black, dreadlocked, large, and super virile male, in a way that converged white art with white political history. This is stated without a hint of irony. So basically, this fucker believes everything he's saying. Everything he's saying. He is so far gone down that fucking rabbit hole. He actually believes this. By this point in the article, most readers may ultimately realize that Katasa is reverse engineering outrage. He's attempting to force a narrative on an unassociated piece of media. Basically, like with 300. Taking their own sociopolitical agendas, their own narratives, their own identity politics, and infusing them in a piece of fiction that has nothing to do at all with any of it. As with most disingenuous contemporary sociopolitical arguments, centered around popular culture, Katasa claims that the only way to move forward, involves various admissions of guilt, white guilt. Let's put it out there. He wants all the fucking white people to admit guilt. Never mind if we are guilty or not, which most of us aren't. We have to admit our guilt because we're white. From general groups of unassociated people. He begins by demanding that first there must be candid admission that there is both sexualized fear of and desire of black people. What the fuck? Katasa then proceeds to demand that there must also be an admission that Hollywood and the media paint black people as sexualized superhuman monstrosities, and that this meshes with the racialized political discourse. How do these people survive? How? Unsurprisingly, Katasa's final suggested action is that more white people will need to critically examine their whiteness. I need to critically examine my white heritage. Never mind that I'm biracial. No, they look at me and see white woman, so I am by default guilty, and I must critically examine that part of myself, even though no history of any racism at all in my family. As this will support the call for whiteness to be abolished. Okay, so he wants to eradicate a population. Say it with me, people. Racist! He is promoting, literally, genocide of a specific group of people based solely on their skin color. Let that sink in. How... Of course, white people are the only racists here. White people are the only racists here, because this is not racist to their minds. No, this is basically vindication from some perceived slight. I'm not completely discounting the atrocious history of racist history of slavery and so forth. I'm not at all glossing over that. But they're constantly living in that past and making people living nowadays, in 2020, who had no association with that whatsoever, feel guilty based solely on their skin color. They are the racist ones. YouTuber Mr. H Reviews commented on the Katasa's article and took him to task for this odd views, calling the professor an utter moron. He is. They're handing the title to anyone nowadays, like I said. Mr. H also states, there is no legitimacy to any of his points. There is none. What do you make of the claims made by Tamari Katasa in regards to Alien and Predator? So there it is, folks. There is abounding in the comics article of this idiocy. Nothing is safe anymore. Nothing is safe. They can't let us enjoy things. They can't just look at a movie, like I said, with two extraterrestrial creatures, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, action, with no bearing at all on any current political atmosphere, or any, like, nowadays. Nothing. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you agree with this professor? Do you think he's a complete idiot like I do? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, share on social media if you will. I'm not sure exactly when I'll be live streaming. Possibly tomorrow. I might stream snipe one of the DC fandom events, one or more of the events. I haven't decided quite yet, but I will let you know on Twitter in the near future. Again, if you like this video, let me know down in the comments. Share on social media if you will. This is Mara Jade. Might be on Twitch later tonight. We'll see how I feel. I'll catch you all on the dark side. Take care.